everybody? Welcome in, welcome in. We're going to get started in just a second. I hope you've had a great weekend, and I hope that your Sunday is treating you well. I hope that you are resetted and rested for this week that is here. Not the coming week, but the week that is here. Today, we're going to be going deeper and diving more into balancing hormones, understanding how we're going to support the body in reversing insulin resistance and reclaiming your power as a woman. I want to do this in the space of starting more Q&A type talks sometime during the week. I don't know exactly if we're going to do a specific day or if we're going to sporadically do it throughout the week because, like I said, like my streams are kind of sporadic, but kind of on the same basis because I usually try to keep the same consistent days, but every now and then they have to shift and they have to move with my scheduling with clients or personal life and etc. So I want us to be able to not only understand that our body is not fighting against us, but to be able to ask the questions that we're not finding answers to and find a viable solution to the problem and not just have these momentary band-aids that we're being told. Because if you're sitting here dealing with an issue of like energy crashes, no matter how much you sleep, or if you're dealing with the issue of sugar cravings and you can't deal with the cravings or you don't know how to get rid of them, and you've been looking, you've been searching, you do diets, you calorie count, you restrict, and none of these things are working, you are not alone. And not only are you not alone, but there is plenty of women and plenty of people on this earth that are dealing with the same issue, that they have these symptoms, they have these cravings, they have them going on, and so they bring it to their doctor to be able to manage. But when you're managing something, you're keeping it alive. You manage and maintain a healthy lifestyle because you're keeping it alive because you want to be healthy. You manage and maintain your car because you want to keep your car alive. You want to keep your car in a state where it can get back and forth and do what you need it to do. You manage and you maintain your phone, your laptop, your iPad, your computer in general, consoles if you have them, so that you can actually be able to keep them in a space that does not waste your time and waste your money and have you sitting here trying to play that catch-up game because now it's starting to degrade. So if you think about it in the space for, let's talk about iPhones, for example, because like I said, majority of the things that we talk about in the space of being healthy and the way that I bridge gaps, you can really apply it to majority of life. And so this is how I want you to view this. Think about how iPhones came out, right? iPhone just came out, new one comes out, and they talk about every single year, and they have been sued for the fact that when new iPhones come out, they make the old ones not work anymore, so that you have to buy a new processor, new phone, because the processor can't hold the newest updates. It can't do what the newest iPhone does. But we all know structurally and internally, majority of the iPhones are the same. So if you maintain that iPhone, you keep it from breaking by keeping a case on it, keeping a screen protector, making sure you're not throwing it across the room, making sure you're not dropping it in a pool of water, right? You're maintaining it to keep it alive so that you don't have to spend $2,000 a year on a phone. And so you maintain to keep that iPhone alive. And you want to keep that alive. But why are you maintaining a disease? Like, really sit back and think about it. Because when you maintain something, you're wanting to keep it alive. So why are you maintaining an illness with a prescription instead of learning how to reverse it? Because when you start to make the connections for people, just like the ones that are dropping out of the live, as soon as I make the connection between your maintaining your sickness by keeping it alive, it hurts some people's feelings because that's not what you're taught. And you were told to maintain and keep it alive because, and you think this is the only way for you to be healthy. But when you are sitting there managing with the prescription and maintaining it with the foods that you eat because you're keeping the same lifestyle, the disease is never going to go away. The same way how if you treat that phone like crap, you treat your console like crap, you throw your iPad across the room, you're not maintaining it, but you're damaging it. And then you're no longer going to be able to use the product. So when you're throwing your liver in disarray every single day because you eat a bunch of toxins, because you sit here and you eat inflammatory processed foods, You are throwing your body in a disarray, just like you just threw the iPad across the room. And you're making your liver not be able to work the way that it should be and detoxify. And that is your detoxification space. So then now you're going to have a bunch of unnecessary toxins staying inside of your body and leaking to other parts. And so the same way that you just threw the iPad across the room and you broke it, you are breaking your liver by doing this for years. Your pancreas is overloaded every time you eat and you use no stabilizers with your food. So now your blood sugar is spiked and you have no regulators. So it's constantly working to try to balance. Having an insulin spike and then trying to drop really, really low, and then you get sleepy and you have the itis. This is a full connection. It's not just about eating the right foods. It's not just about you going and working out, but it's understanding what you've been doing so you can get away from the lifestyle that has made you sick. Because when you continuously keep doing the same thing and not being honest with yourself to realize that you are in a system that is trained and designed to poison you, you're going to continuously think that there's something wrong with your body. But when you understand that when you're living in the US versus somewhere else, that their gluten, their wheat, their food that has wheat products does not harm their stomach and put holes in their stomach. They don't have a bunch of gums in their food that puts holes in their stomachs. There's a reason why in America specifically, there are so many women that are dealing with IBS. A lot of people in general, women and men, because I know a lot of men that have leaky gut. And when you have a leaky gut, that literally means that your gut pH is not where it needed to be for a long time. And since it hasn't been where it needed to be for a long time, the foods that you were eating are literally wearing away at the lining of your stomach. So when you're eating things like gums, when you're eating things like added gluten that they put inside of your food, that's putting holes inside of your stomach. And this is going to cause you to have leaky gut. And leaky gut affects the intestines, the digestive tract. So now you're going to have issues going back and forth to the bathroom, being stuck, being blocked. And when you have that issue for years on end, you do realize that that's how you get the colostomy bag. And if you don't know what a colostomy bag is, that's a poop bag. That's how you get attached to a poop bag. After years of you not supporting the gut, after years of your liver not being able to detoxify, and your digestive tract being thrown off because you have leaky gut, that's how you get a colostomy bag. Does anybody want to walk around here with a poop bag? Because that's the path that we are put down when we continuously eat these foods and we don't understand what's in them. And then when somebody brings up eating a plant-based meal, how are you doing? Welcome in. When somebody brings up eating a plant-based meal, everybody's in disarray. But do you understand that the earth produces vegetation for a reason? And you should be eating more vegetation than you are anything else. When you're not going to the bathroom regularly, because there's tons of people out here. Thank you for the follow. I feel like it's such a thing that we don't want to talk about because women don't poop. We don't want to talk about pooping. That's just not a thing unless it's a baby. Then we talk about pooping, right? When you are an adult versus when you were a kid, when you see a child, a baby, every single time that they eat, they poop. There's not a time that goes by that they don't. And when they don't, you recognize it because you're immediately like, you didn't poop today. You're constipated. And so what do? You go give that baby something so they can go poop. They're complaining, they're bloated, they're whiny, and you know what's going on. So how come when we become an adult that it's normal for us to skip a day, skip 2 days, only poop once a week, and we don't see any problems? Because the same thing as that child and that toddler being constipated happens when you're an adult. Nothing changes about your body's function. Because the same thing as that child and that toddler being constipated happens when you're an adult. Nothing little itty bitty tater tot that has bones that aren't completely put together, completely solid, have a whole bunch of cartilage, but your body still operates the same. You should be pooping after every single meal. So when you're not doing these things, why? Because there's a block. And when you have these blocks physically in your digestive tract, from your gut, from your organs working overtime, this causes your energy to be thrown off, and you're now going to have an energy leak. So you're going to be sitting here dealing with the fact that you're resting for 10 hours, but you still wake up and you're tired. You're drinking coffee and you're having crashes all the time. You're eating a balanced meal, but something is not right and you're still not getting the health that you're looking for. You're in the gym and you can't sustain you being healthy. It's because you have an energy leak. And it's because all of the intestinal systems, your organs, are being blocked by your habits. And so when you have no new habits, when you don't change the habits, your lifestyle won't change, regardless of how much you're in the gym. Because at the end of the day, when you're walking and you're moving, yes, your digestive tract is going to be moving. It's going to be letting you release. So it's going to help you feel lighter and you're not going to be feeling bloated. But if you're still spiking your blood sugar every time that you eat, you are going to develop insulin resistance. And when you develop insulin resistance, you're going down the path of diabetes. And let's say you've been diagnosed with diabetes now. Do you not realize because diabetes comes from that insulin resistance is going to cause you to gain weight? It's going to cause you to not be able to hold a steady, healthy weight. You're going to be feeling sluggish again. And then it's probably going to make you more likely than not want to go to the gym anymore. So now you stop going to the gym. So you're gaining more weight. Now you're having all these sugar cravings that are intense because your blood sugar is spiked and your body is trying to replace it with healthy sugar, but you've trained it to crave unnatural sugars. So then now you've been diagnosed with diabetes, you're 100 pounds heavier than what you were, and you're trying to figure out how you got here. But it's not because there's something wrong with your body and you did something completely just throwing your body off in a disarray. But it's because you have been trained in this space. Let me get my Wi-Fi on. Y'all hold on. Connected. This is the space that we have been trained into. We have been trained into not knowing how to cycle sync, not understanding what insulin resistance is completely so that we can reverse it. And we've been trained to think that when you're dealing with a disease that you have to manage it for the rest of your life. So you take a prescription, you take insulin, you get a surgery, and this is how you fix the problem. But the fixes are band-aids. That's like you seeing that there is a leak in your boat. And then instead of you using the putty that goes inside the boat to fix it and then tape it over it so that it's completely clean, there's nothing wrong, you're no longer sinking, you decide you're going to wad up some gum from your mouth and you're going to stick it in there and you hope that you can make it miles on end. At some point, it's going to start leaking. It might work for maybe a couple minutes, but at some point, the water's going to start leaking. You're plugging holes with pieces of paper and gum. It ain't going to last long. And that's what you've been doing for years. When you're diagnosed with a disease and you're taking a prescription or you've used a surgery, you're just prolonging the ending result, which is that you're still not healthy and that you're still going to be suffering. And when you have one disease, which is dis-ease in the body, it's not just tied to that one disease of, oh, I have diabetes. But you have to look at, because if your organs are thrown off the way that they are, you're going to have more issues that are building up. This is just one thing that has been diagnosed. Because you have plenty of symptoms to let you know. Oh, you've been insulin resistant for years. Oh, your liver has also been thrown off for years because you eat a whole bunch of toxic sugar that it has to try to filter. So then now you're going to have fatty liver disease. Obesity is tied to diabetes. Fatty liver disease is also tied to being overweight. There's tons of different patterns and routes that all lead to the same space of sickness. But when you don't know these symptoms and you don't understand what they are telling you, but instead you think that they're just something for you as you get older, that everybody has to go through it, you're never going to be able to reclaim your health. You're never going to be able to take your health and grasp it and to hold on to it. It's always going to be slipping through your fingers like water. And then you're going to be sitting here complaining, thinking that there's something wrong with your body, thinking that you always have to be tired, that you're always going to be overloaded and you're always going to be feeling bloated, that there's no way for you to rebalance your hormones or to support your system. And so when you're going through this pattern and you're going through these habits, your habits are the key factor to you either being healthy or not. So if you're not in the space that you want to be in with your health, look at your habits. What habits do you have? And it's deeper. Let me tell you this. It's deeper than just saying, oh, I eat too much sugar. I don't want to eat sugar anymore. Because when you sit there and you say you don't want to eat sugar anymore, and some people are strong enough to cut sugar out completely and not pick it up anymore, but majority of people are not. And I was one of those people who was not. I did a whole month without sugar last year in June to work my way up into July. And then I did about a month and a half after that of no sugar because I wanted to eat a cake for my birthday. And that's when I first had like my break of sugar. I wouldn't have been able to do that before. I wouldn't even be able to wrap my brain around doing that before I went plant-based. But how I got myself to the space of being able to do that and not even batting an eyelash, or not even having to think about, I haven't had sugar in a whole 2 weeks, is because I had rewired my subconscious to actually crave natural sugars. My body understood how important fruits are, and not only how important they are, but how stabilizing natural sugars are. Because when you're eating natural sugar paired with a good stabilizer, your body is able to convert that energy and use it. And so you start to feel good. But when you've been eating crap for 5, 10, 15, 30, however many years, and you decide that today is the day that you're going to do some type of sugar cleanse and a fast, and you're going to do fruits and vegetables only, and you think that this is going to completely change everything for you, so then you flip the switch and you're no longer eating all this stuff, you threw everything away, all you're doing is training your subconscious to panic. You're not training it to crave natural things by eating only fruits for a week when you've been doing this for 5 to 10, 15, I don't know how many years. You're just teaching your body to crave the sugar more, which makes you panic because you're not getting it. And then let's say you're in the space because you're now restricting yourself in calories because you're now only eating fruits, or you're eating fruits and vegetables. So then you're making your body go, not only am I not getting enough calories, I was already malnourished, so I wasn't stable before we started doing this. So now I'm panicking, thinking that we're starving and we have no food. And then on top of that, let's say you don't get moving. On top of that, you don't even eat enough fruits while you're doing this because you're sprinkling in a couple of berries when your stomach growls, but you're not realizing you need to be eating a full meal's worth of fruits. And so when you wrap your brain around that, you know what the first thought is? Lack. I don't have enough money to be spending all that money on fruits and vegetables. Lack. And I think it's so funny when I because I don't work with these people, because they're usually in my DMs saying something, or in a comment asking me, well, how do you afford doing all of this? And I'm like, do you shop for fruits and vegetables? And I don't have to ask that, honestly, because I know you don't. Because when you shop for fruits and vegetables, there's a lot of different ways for you to be able to get fruits and vegetables in bulk. But you go to Publix and you grab one orange and it's $3 and you're complaining about it. Why are you shopping at Publix when you have to buy each individual orange, or you have to buy a whole bag for $10 and there's only 4 of them in there? Like, use your brain. When you started shopping, when you first started getting money and you first started shopping, did you start shopping at the most expensive grocery store that you possibly could to get fruits and vegetables? No. I don't know where you live at. I don't know what your life story is. But majority of people who started buying food, started grocery shopping for themselves, you went to Kroger, you went to Walmart. Sometimes you may go to Publix because they don't have it in the other places. But if you know that they have it at Kroger, but you're going to Publix for produce, don't complain to me about how cherries are $10. Farmers markets are the best places to go. I don't know everybody's situation. I know that farmers markets can be far. They can be out of range, because I've had somebody who was talking about they live in the outskirts. So they were asking what I do and how I get so many fruits and vegetables. And I told them that depending on how far you are, because I used to drive 50 minutes to go to Costco. But at Costco, I can get a pack of cucumbers of 3 for the same price that I can get 1 or 2. Maybe even cheaper. I can get different things, like I could get pineapples, bananas, and they're organic. But it's a matter of you wanting that change and looking and doing research. Because I didn't just decide I was going to drive 50 minutes and hope that they had something at Costco. I started looking online first to see how many organic options that were not appeal coded, but looking and seeing, because California's Costco, I wouldn't trust it. Any major city like Vegas or anything like that, because I'm close to a major city, and that Costco is kind of in the major city, but we don't have appeal coding where I live. So I don't have to worry about shopping at Costco. You just have to know how to read your labels. Same thing with Trader Joe's and Sprouts. I don't have appeal coatings where I live, so I don't have to worry about the organics. But if you know that you have appeal coating where you live, you should be shopping at a farmer's market, no question, no ifs, ands, or buts. Because if they are already approving it in major stores like Costco, Trader Joe's, and etc., they're probably putting it in your Kroger and your Publix too and not labeling it. Because we have to be cautious. And so if you have some closer, check the store deals to get apps. Exactly, you have to look. And so I know that it's hard for people to do research, especially in the space that we're in with stress and work. If you have family like kids and etc., it can be difficult. And so not only trying to get to the root cause of what you have going on by understanding what your body's symptoms are, but also trying to fit in the time to be able to research these things, it can be overwhelming. Thinking of it in the space of doing it all in one day and fixing your whole life in a week, that's overwhelming. When you're in my program and we work it and we break it down within the 6 weeks, I'm not throwing everything in you in the first week and then hoping you fix everything in 6 weeks. I'm showing you exactly how you tailor your lifestyle to be able to break down each aspect of plant-based eating, getting your mindset around it first, then plant-based eating. Excuse me, I got out of order. Making our own non-toxic medicine, making our own natural products, and then sustaining it with detoxification. Not starting out with a detox and then getting you on this throughout the program, which I know by the end of the program, in the 6 weeks, you're going to go back because you're going to be ready to eat the foods that you've been eating. But when we work our way up to us eating more plant-based meals, and by the end of the 6 weeks, getting a full plant-based regimen, regardless if you're still, okay, you're only 3 weeks, you're 3 days out of the week. It's a matter of making the change, because those small little changes reestablish your habits so that by the end of, let's say, 2 months, you're no longer sitting here saying, oh, I have to eat plant-based meals of 4 days out of this week. But now it's becoming a second thought to even think about going to get meat or dairy. And now you're sitting here thinking, I haven't eaten anything but plant-based meals in the whole month. Because that's how you get to the space of sustaining it. When it becomes some subconscious thought where you're not even thinking about it anymore, but your actions just show it, that's mastery. But when you're still in the space of panicking, thinking about it, overwhelmed, now you're sitting here thinking about how it won't work for you, that's a lack mindset, and you will never be able to sustain that. That's like you saying that you're going to start going to the gym, and you go to the gym, and then while you're in the gym, you're watching all the horror stories of how women are stalked at the gym. Does that make you want to go to the gym? No, it does not. You sitting in the gym and you complaining and whining the whole time, and then you're looking around at everybody who's fitter than you. Does that make you want to stay at the gym? Sometimes it's motivation when you're looking at it like, oh, body goals. But when you're sitting there saying, man, I wish me and my man were in the gym, and I wish I was looking good running on the treadmill like that. I look like I'm in pain. You are in pain. There's no reason to be comparing yourself, because you are in pain. You ain't worked out in 3 months. You ain't got moving in about 10 months. Like, let's be honest here. Like, you don't walk, you don't work out, you don't stretch. And then you go to the gym and you're wondering why you're uncomfortable. You go to the space of, okay, let's go to this walking trail, and you wonder why in 10 minutes you're ready to turn around and go back. Because the whole time before you got there, you're talking about how you didn't want to do this. The whole time before then, you probably were eating a whole bunch of junk the night before. Majority of people don't realize that when you sit there and you try to fast, because you're like, oh, I'm just going to fast, I'm not going to eat breakfast, and you don't set yourself up for success the night before, and then you decide when you break your fast, okay, I'm going to eat this. This spikes your insulin because it made your body panic. You were already with low blood sugar, and then you decide to eat something so then your blood sugar spiked. And that makes an imbalance and dysregulation. So which in return causes the body to panic. And this is just as dangerous as you eating a whole bunch of sugar, because it's going to lead you down the same path, which is having insulin resistance. And insulin resistance, if you don't know, because I didn't break this down, is when your body's cells stop responding to sugar. And when your body's cells respond to sugar, this is how it starts to break down the sugar and make it into energy. But when it cannot respond to it, all it can do is try to flush and expel it so that it's not holding on to excess sugar. And this is how you get in the space of being overweight, because you're making your cortisol high and you're making yourself uncomfortable every single day internally with your organs, which causes panic. When your gut is thrown off, this causes your brain to be off, which is causing anxiety, which is causing panic attacks. So your pancreas, which is your place for your insulin to be balanced, is literally your peacekeeper. So when it's thrown off, You have no peace. The same thing with the gut and the brain being directly connected. When your gut is off, your brain has no peace. So these systems have to be supported. And so when it's under stress, when your pancreas is under stress, because it manages your blood sugar, which is supposed to produce your insulin to help you be able to absorb the glucose, aka the sugar is converted into energy. But when it's under stress, this is a constant state of fatigue, high sugar levels, late night eating. You cannot regulate yourself. You cannot regulate your energy. So no matter how much you sleep, no matter how much coffee you drink, no matter how much time you give yourself to rest and have vacation time, you are consistently going to be lacking energy because you're having an energy leak, because your organs are being blocked by your own habits. So waking up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. every single night, a lot of y'all are thinking that y'all are having spiritual awakenings. And a lot of you are just not understanding that when you are waking up during that time, that is the time where your liver is supposed to be, it's supposed to be in the state of a reset. So it's supposed to be getting ready for the next day. It's supposed to be getting all that junk out so that when you wake up, the liver is no longer having to work for those toxins, but it's waiting for its next time to be having to detoxify and to release. Not hold on to what was from yesterday, but to be fresh and renewed. But when you are sitting here in the issue of now I'm waking up at 2 or 3 a.m., I'm running back and forth to the bathroom, you have no stabilizers, which has made your body not be able to feel safe when it's asleep. So it's panicking and it's thinking that you're dying. You're putting your body in a taxed out state. And this is making not only your liver work overtime, but your kidneys too, because this is the filter for your blood, right? Sugar is sticky. Sugar is sticky. And when you think about it from the space of people who have diabetes, think about how when they get a cut, how their blood does not clot correctly. Their blood does not clot correctly. And when you look deeper into it, how they can, lose a limb. They can lose their eyesight. Their brain starts to literally deteriorate. And that's how you get Alzheimer's, which is a form of dementia, which is the most common form of dementia, mind you. They have done studies and they have linked it and they have seen and it's been shown that when you are eating these sugars and you have the issue of now you've been diagnosed with diabetes and people are, for instance, are losing their eyesight, it's because whatever that is going on inside of your system, whether it's you losing your eyesight, you're losing blood flow through your arms, your leg, your brain, it's because it's literally being coated with sugar. And it's being so heavily coated with sugar, you're losing your eyesight, you're losing your hearing. Because that's what happens. When you have literal sugar clumping to the blood so it can no longer flow properly, you're going to start losing functions. Because blood is life. You lose too much blood, you don't live. Your blood is tainted, you don't live. That's the reason why people get put on dialysis. So you really have to think about what you were doing when you were not hydrated on a cellular level, because that affects the kidneys. When you are eating a whole bunch of sodium, because that affects the liver and the kidneys. Caffeine affects the liver, the kidneys, the gut. Because a lot of y'all don't realize the coffee beans, your ground coffee, the coffee you get at Starbucks and etc., it has not only been sprayed with pesticides, but majority of the coffee has mold. It has cockroaches in it. Like, y'all aren't realizing because it's ground up. And cockroaches love the smell of coffee. They love coffee. And they grind it up in a factory. And y'all know how the practices are with companies. I'm not trying to ruin anything, but I just want y'all to shed light on what you are consuming. Because when you start to see the problem, you can fix the problem. But when you don't want to see the problem and you don't want to dive deeper into how to fix the problem, you're going to be consistently thrown off. But how you restore harmony inside of your body is digging deeper, knowing the emotional side as well as the physical side to it. Because healing your insulin resistance isn't just about food. It's about making your body feel safe with you. So when you are in panic mode, in fight or flight mode, when your liver, your kidney, your pancreas, and your gut are thrown off, your body cannot trust you. And so now it's in panic mode because subconsciously you have trained in all the bad habits that make you sick. because you're going down the path of developing some type of illness. And so the body cannot feel safe, which makes your nervous system be thrown off. So now you're in survival mode. And your body won't let go of excess weight, and it won't expel toxins at the way that it could be, because it cannot be safe no matter how hard you try to do these things. Because this is self-preservation. This is how the body survives if you were on a stranded island. Because it knows if you are on a stranded island and there's no food, we can't just be sitting here releasing everything that we have inside of us, because we need to hold on to something so that we don't starve in 2 weeks. So when you're thinking about a lack mindset of, oh, I can't eat plant-based because I'm not going to have enough stuff, or, oh, I don't like water because it has no flavor, you're going to be stuck in this momentary band-aids of taking medications, taking prescriptions, supplements, having a surgery, and then crying about how in 10 years it didn't work, or now you have to go do it again. You have a fibroid that grew back. Because a lot of people are getting surgeries, hysterectomies, and the fibroids are growing anyway. They're growing back because you didn't get to the root of what is going on. You did not build that trust within yourself again. And so the emotional is thrown off and the physical is thrown off. I just want to let all of you know you are not broken. You're just out of rhythm with what your body is needing. And this is why the symptoms are happening. But you can restore that rhythm. You just have to know the process of how to get to the shift. How do we reverse what we're doing, what we have going on? Through our habits. It's about the foundation. So when your foundation is off, you're going to be insulin resistant. But when you get into a healthy foundation, this is how we start to reverse it. Learning how hormonal imbalances isn't about restricting, but it's about realignment with what we need. And so how you get into the space of what you need is hydration on a cellular level, oxygen on a cellular level, moving the body daily. This is not just about going to the gym, but it's about you actually getting up and getting moving so that your systems are moving. Eating plant-based foods, eating fiber-rich foods. You cannot have a fiber supplement nor a fiber-rich food that they have added fake fiber into, like a Fiber One bar, because that's not going to give you what you need on the natural space. So then you're going to be adding in fake fiber, which your body's going to hold on to, because that's still causing more panic. Because you cannot digest and absorb fake fiber the way that they are promoting to you. It has been proven. It's all about marketing. That's the reason why that your boxes of cereal that have the most crap in it are the prettiest boxes. Prioritize your sleep. Reduce eating all of this refined sugar and starting working your way away from that. Get away from this processed oils that they have in all of your food, of your not only processed snacks, your frozen meals, fast food restaurants. You have to cut out the late night sweet snacking and start to use stabilizers. If you are hungry, you should know how to give yourself something that stabilizes the blood sugar instead of spiking it. Because when you're spiking it, yeah, you're going to be sitting there craving sugar before you go to bed. Because your body doesn't want you to go lay down and go to sleep because it thinks you're about to die. It's not funny, but it's just a crazy concept to think that like the body gives us so many signs. And the signs are amazing. Like the Most High, though, in his design is amazing. But we're taught to not listen to it because we're fit in this box of Western medicine. And so every time that you choose nourishment, you are slowly reestablishing that trust inside of yourself. And when you're consistent with your body, you're showing love to your body, and the body is learn how to trust you and to let go. Let go of everything that you had going on before and being able to be in the space of being comforted, trusting you, feeling comfortable to release the toxins, being comfortable to digest properly, having your nervous system regulated, having your cortisol be balanced instead of too high or too low. And so if you are in the space of wanting to know how to reconnect to your rhythm, and you want that hormonal balance instead of being in the chaos, and you want a support system that has supported me in 5 years of me being plant-based, I have my Balanced Body program that I mentioned earlier. This Balanced Body program is 6 weeks. You can get it with Klarna Affirm or Afterpay. There is more details about that program in the bio if you want to go deeper into each section, because I told you the outline of what the program is. But it's going to help you be able to do all of the support system of regulation and regaining that balance, reversing what you have going on by understanding it from the space of insulin resistance, because a lot of women are not cycle syncing. Majority of women are not cycle syncing, and so they don't understand that the reason why you're dealing with all of this insulin resistance is because you are not in tune and rhythm with what your body is needing with each phase. And so this is causing you to then in return eat more sugar when you shouldn't be, but you just need more stabilizers. So I know that we had a couple questions going through. I haven't seen any in a minute, so I'll take any questions that you guys have for me, and if not, I will hop off. And if you are looking for more content like this, I do have a YouTube channel. My YouTube is linked in my bio as well as all my other social medias that will support you. You can check those out. They have all of my past lives. I appreciate you guys for the comments and the likes, by the way. I'll give you guys about 1 more minute and then I'm going to hop off. If you have any questions, please ask me about insulin resistance, about the program in general. And if not, we're gonna hop off. I didn't mean to scoop my thing. I didn't mean to scoop my thing. Any questions for me at all? Any about insulin resistance, hormonal imbalances? Any questions? No questions? All right. Well, I'm going to hop off. I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. If not, we'll see you on Tuesday. I was trying to think. I already told you. Get on my email list if you haven't already. Every single Wednesday, I send out a Wellness Wednesday email. Go check that out. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your Sunday. I hope that you are rested and well for the week. And please, if you have any questions about the program or any links don't work, DM me. I appreciate you for being here, guys. Thank you. If you have not followed, go ahead and follow me. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe.